Good evening, everybody. So here in the war room in the gym, just wanted to get you started on a little bit of the physical training part of what we're going to go through for the next year. Obviously, being in good physical condition is going to make your hike a lot better. You're going to be a lot happier the first couple weeks till you get your hiking legs if you start out in shape. And so I use a combination of the gym and outside to stay in shape. Honestly, during the winter here in Portland, when it rains every single freaking day, I'm in here most of the time. Here's the weather gets nicer, we'll get out to do some more like endurance style training. It's gonna be a little bit more applicable to the hike. But here in the gym, we can do a lot to stay healthy and in shape so that we're ready for next April. And to achieve that, I come from a background of CrossFit and weightlifting. I used to compete, and I still use those training modalities primarily over the winter. We're just going to modify them a little bit to hit some of the specific things for hiking. And so tonight, the very first thing I wanted to touch on was one of the most important movements that we're going to be doing over this next year, and that is the squat. This movement is indispensable. It is going to get you strong all over your body, but it's going to be great for your hamstrings, your glutes, your quads, your calves, everything you're going to need for hiking. And we can do a bunch of different variations on this to simulate where we're going to be carrying weight. Or we can modify where we put the weight to target specific muscle groups. So tonight, I just wanted to start out with the most basic weightlifting squat. So we'll start out with no weight. I'll show you what I just did, and then I'm going to show you a modified squat that we're going to use in the workout right after this. So starting out with, we'll go over the basics here. For the squat, you're going to start from standing. Square up your shoulders, stand up nice and proud, and your feet are going to be underneath your shoulders for this. So your heels are underneath your shoulders, and your feet, your toes are slightly pigeon-toed out. Just a slight angle, not getting crazy like a ballerina, just a very slight, comfortable angle out away from the heels. Then from here, you're going to initiate the movement by taking a breath. Take a breath, hold it, brace. Going down into a squat is just like diving underwater. You're going to hold your breath throughout the movement. So you're going to take in a breath of air, hold it, embrace this core. Knees are going to go to the outsides, hips are going to go down, chest is going to stay up. Ideally, I like to put my arms up to try to help keep that posture. And then crease of the hips is going to end up below the top of the knee, the plane of the knee here. So this area right here. And then complete the squat by standing. So I talked throughout that. Ideally, I'm holding my breath, especially once I got weight on my back. Let me take a breath. Ease out, hips down, hit the bottom, and stand back up. That's your basic squat. And then tonight for the training, I added the barbell with a little bit of homemade weight. Of course, you don't need to add weight to this. You can make yourself pretty sore just with your own body weight. But if you have the equipment or you're interested in learning, of course, you can get yourself a barbell and do a lot of different variations on the squat. The one I did this evening, probably the most basic strength training movement there is. That is the back squat. It's the same setup, just the weights across the back of the shoulders, sitting on the trapezius, hands are on the bar, and sit down, chest stays up, nice tight back, and then stand up. So my strength training work in preparation for the trail has been higher volume, higher reps. So lots of sets, lots of reps. Usually, 5 sets of 10, 10 sets of 5, be in that order. Or, as people typically like to call it, it would be like bodybuilding style sets or hypertrophy sets. We want our legs to get nice and strong and fatigued. We want to hit all the little balancer muscles that start to come into play after we exhaust the big movers in the first few reps. So that's the goal of our strength training here. And then with our conditioning, the conditioning we're going to do tonight, we're going to do some modifications to use our backpacking gear. But conditioning is going to be, until we can get outside, it's going to be not make as much sense. But the idea is to do what we can to mimic the movements we're going to see on the trail. And obviously, we're not going to be here in the gym for like 6 hours doing lunges. But we're going to, maintain a level of fitness until we can get out and get that specific training. And so our movements tonight, we're going to do it with the backpack. So I've got my current backpacking gear right here. Not what I'm going to be taking on the trail because this bag is super heavy and old. But it's good for training purposes. I, of course, still use it on trips, but I'm not going to take it on the PCT. But I'm going to use it tonight for training. It's got a little bit of gear in it. It probably weighs 10 or 15 pounds. It's not much. But with this tonight, we're going to do a short workout, about 15 minutes. And it's just going to be pull-ups, push-ups, and squats, however, with the bag on. So our work tonight, we're going to start out on the pull-up bar. It's going to be 3 pull-ups with the gear on. So we just 3 of those. We get down on the ground for 6 push-ups. This is going to be the hand release variety. So once we're on the ground, get into our nice push-up plank. Chest to the ground, hands up, and push back out. It's gonna be 6 of those. And then we're gonna end each round tonight with another squatting movement. We're gonna have 9 lunges and with a squat, a complex here. So for this movement, it's going to be squat with the gear, lunge, lunge, and that's 1. So squat, lunge, lunge, 2, just like that. And that's going to be our workout this evening. Like I said, we're going to do about 15 minutes of an AMRAP, as many rounds as possible of those movements, and we'll see how many we actually get. And that's going to be our training for this evening. If you have any questions on squatting, please hit me up, because mastering that movement is going to be integral to this next year. We're going to do a lot of squatting. And if you do it wrong, you can't hurt yourself. So if you have any questions, let me know. Like I said, used to be a personal trainer, so I can help you out with your squat if you need it. All right, happy training and good luck.